The 2022 Kink Curb is the cheapest 20-inch BMX bike in Kink's complete bike line, and this bike is made from weak, high-tensile steel. It's a popular choice for brand new riders who have a very low budget. There's a lot of things I need to tell you about this bike, so let's get right into this video. Alright, my name's Douglas. I run Dougsterbob.com and the Dougsterbob YouTube channel. I make helpful BMX content so that you don't have to think so hard when you're getting into the sport. The way that I scored this bike and the ranking system that revolves around this bike and everything that you need to know about it comes from the Dougsterbob app. Now you might not be able to see it here, but there are 80 different bikes here, all reviewed with different qualities, different scores, different prices, and it tells you literally everything that you could ever want to know about any of these bikes. That link to get the app and to get the score sheet is in the description. You need it while you're looking for bikes. I just wanted to give you that heads up. That's where all this information comes from, and that's why I can make an unbiased, in-depth review about the 2022 Kink Curb. Now the Kink Curb comes in 4 pretty unique color options. You're gonna have to choose between matte midnight black, blood blue, brush silver, and blood orange. Kink puts a lot of emphasis on the color options in the low range bikes because for a lot of new riders, the color of their bike is something that's really important to them. This is the lowest priced 20-inch Kink bike for only $369. It has a 20.00-inch top tube that is made for riders who are about 4'10" to 5'3". If you're between that size range, keep watching this video. If you're taller than that, quit watching because the bike is literally going to be too small for you. There's a link in the description for a free bike recommendation that you can fill out. I'll look over the information and send you a recommendation with 3 bikes that are the right size for you if you got to this video and you found out the Curb is actually the wrong size for. A disappointing thing about the Kink Curb is the very heavy 27.1 pound weight of the bike. Now people want a lighter bike because it's going to make it easier to maneuver and easier to control when you're learning new tricks and when you're doing certain things. Lighter bikes are very important, but you have to find a perfect balance between a really light bike and a strong bike. You don't want to skimp on quality to get a lighter weight, but you also don't want to have a really heavy bike, otherwise it's kind of useless. Now remember when I said that this is a low quality bike? Well, this bike only scored a 1.2 in the quality section of the scoring system. What a 1.2 quality score means is that generally this bike is high tensile steel frame, forks, and bars. The bearings are not all fully sealed, and it has single wall rims. Because of this lower quality, it's recommended that a rider that weighs under 130 pounds is the kind of rider that's on this bike. If you weigh more than 130 pounds, your weight might be a little bit too much, and it could cause the bike to have issues earlier than expected. So if you're under 130 pounds, this bike would be okay for you. If you weigh more than that, you're gonna need to find something with a higher quality score. 3 other bikes that have very similar quality to this bike would be the Stolen Casino, the Stranger Spitfire, and the Sunday Blueprint. To be honest, none of these bikes, I absolutely hate the Stranger Spitfire, but none of these other bikes are really my favorite. For the most part, it's better if you save up a little bit of extra money and get a bike with higher quality instead of settling for one of these low quality entry-level bikes. Now, because of the $369 price tag and the very low quality score, this bike only scored a 2.36 in the value factor. And what this means is that the price to quality ratio is pretty low. This is not a great bike bang for your buck wise. You're not getting a lot of bang for your buck when you buy the Kink Curb. For example, you could spend $360 and get the Sabrosa Altus, which is a 1.5 quality score. Just a teeny tiny bit better than the Kink Curb for $9 cheaper. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, you're probably wondering if this bike is actually for you. And this bike's going to be for a smaller rider, like I said earlier, who weighs under 130 pounds and is on a very tight budget. Maybe you lost all your money in crypto. Maybe you put all your savings in your seat tube of your bike and it got stolen. So now you don't have a bike and you don't have any money to buy a new bike. That's who this bike is going to be for. Low budget person who's pretty small and for the most part pretty new to the sport. The person who rides this bike should ride it primarily primarily on dirt jumps or pump tracks. There's nothing that comes with the Curb that makes it any good for street or park riding, so it is going to feel a lot better because of the longer chainstay. When you're riding dirt jumps and pump tracks, it's just going to be a lot more stable and controlled. Now, since this is a low quality bike, the person who gets this bike shouldn't expect it to last much longer than a year, especially if they're a serious bike rider who takes progression seriously. If you're progressing at the normal rate, eventually you're going to be doing tricks that are too gnarly for this bike to handle. Parts are going to bend and parts are going to break, so don't have really high expectations if you're serious about BMX and you end up getting the Kink Curb. Overall, I get it. This bike does have a lot of components. BMX bikes are expensive to make in general, but $369 for a really low quality bike is gonna be a no-go. Like, anyone who comes to me first before buying their bike, if possible, if it at all possible, and if they're serious about the sport, I'm always going to push them to spend just a little bit extra money and get something that's a little better quality. Even if this is your first bike, sometimes you need a 20.00 inch top tube, and that's going to be hard to find. But if this is going to be your first bike, why not spend a little more and get a bike that's going to last a lot longer? I don't hate this bike, but I do think it's damn near $400 and it's pretty low quality. High tensile steel should be avoided at almost all costs. Otherwise, you'll end up looking like me, and it's not very fun. So that's what I think about the Kink Curb. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and don't forget to check out the Dougsterbob app. It's going to help your bike buying process immensely. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.